Michigan.
Oh, nice. I think Crypto Blood's from over there too.
Yeah, yep. That's Crypto Blood actually lives a few miles away from me.
We are live. Welcome back to the O Show. Everything crypto and NFTs every day. I'm your host with the most, Wendy O. And today we are going to prepare for a huge Bitcoin pump in October. I don't know about that. We also have some pretty bullish news on ADA, and I have two awesome special guests here. Gary has been on the channel before, so I want to go ahead and let FD. How do you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you Frank? Do you want me to call you FD? What do I call you?
So my government name is Frederick. Actually, okay. Frederick Douglass White.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can call me FD, or you can call me, my friends call me Crypto Funds. But we can go by FD. We can keep it professional.
Okay, so tell everybody who you are, 60 seconds or less. And also, you guys, if you want more from FD, we've got his link tree down below. Make sure to follow his socials. Make sure to support him. Make sure to share and like this video so we can get all of this information out, because we got a lot of drama, and Gary will be talking to us quite a bit about that in a minute. But FD, who the heck are you?
So my basic slogan is I'm just a kid from Detroit who did his homework. From like Detroit, the ghetto. So I'm a big component of no excuses, especially nowadays with artificial intelligence, everything at our fingertips. It's no excuses right now. If you're struggling, if something, you need to want to accomplish something in life or something, crypto is definitely in the forefront of, getting you to where you want to go. So I'm a big component of crypto. I found crypto during DeFi summer. I retired. My wife retired in 2021, and I've been, doing crypto ever since. And I learned how to trade because I knew the bear market was coming. So I've been, trading during the bear. So it hasn't really affected me like that. But the overall market, I'm still a hodler. I'm still, ready for that bull market.
Okay. And then Mr. Gary, 30 seconds, because everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, Gary Cardone. I invest in companies, specifically in blockchain and the Bitcoin space. I have a company called Node 40 that does the rich analytics for large companies around the digital asset space, which is really part of the drama, I think, that Wendy might not have been referring to, which is the Treasury Department's come out with a 800-page document on what would be required for any player touching crypto. They all look like they're going to be broker dealers, which I will be the Node 40 will be the benefactor of, because pulling all this data together is just mind-boggling difficult. So, but at least we're getting clarity, Wendy. We're getting more and more clarity and more decisions about what is and what is
bad decisions, bad clarity, ridiculous stuff that doesn't even make sense, because it kind of oh God, I can't think of the word right now. Big words hurt my head. I'm just kidding, guys. But it actually doesn't make sense with the agreement that code is classified as free speech and as speech.
Right.
Contradicts.
Maybe you need to give me some clarity. What are you saying there?
Okay, so if they're going to make somebody who creates code, make a DeFi platform that's it's just code, okay? It's open source, anybody can use it. That's code. And I remember back in the internet days, there was a ruling that came out that classified code as to be protected under First Amendment as speech. So it's kind of contradictory that we're seeing that happen.
Right.
Well,
so
you
really
have,
not like free speech, right?
Yeah, you have look at all our policymakers. They're so old. Okay. Like I am younger than most of those guys. I think I'm a fairly progressive older guy, and these people haven't spent one moment looking at anything around blockchain or code. I mean, we just have a really archaic the whole construct of our politics and government are coming apart. You just look at like this media, right? What we're doing right here, decentralization is working inside of media. Like it is going to slaughter mainstream media. We're doing right here.
Well, we're seeing that with X, because X is going to be the WeChat of America.
Correct.
I feel like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Gary.
So I don't think that like they can make all these rules up, but the market is going to dictate what happens here. And you can make a crazy, stupid rule. See, I actually like dumb regulation, because dumb regulation is better than no regulation. It allows people to go, okay, I'm not going to participate here. I'm going to move my game outside this jurisdiction because it's crazy. The United States has no control over the digital asset industry. It is going to grow with or without the US government supporting it. Period. End of story. There's nothing they can do about it. It's 12%. And America's never had this problem in 200 years, where they're not leading the entire industrial revolution that's occurring here. So I think they're going to muddle into it, but we'll catch up, man. We're capitalists, okay? It's going to all be okay.
Right.
All right, FD, give us your quick thoughts on that, and then I'm going to go straight into Bitcoin and what's happening. Also, to you guys, we have about 200 of you in the chat. Make sure to smash the like. We should have at least 100, or we should have at least 100 likes. So go ahead and smash the like, get this up, share it. But FD, give us your thoughts on that really quick, and then I'm going to get into charts, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty news. And shout out to everybody from Michigan that's watching here.
Oh yeah. So as far as like the policymakers and whatnot being old, we just saw with I can't remember his name. He froze up. This is the second time he's froze up in so many months, and then they just cleared him again to keep working. Like it's definitely one of the things that we need to look into, and like we see Warren Buffett, the guys who are a little bit older in age, or the latter stages of life, they can't grasp it or something. It's something in between that they can't grasp, or sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I don't know if they don't want to grasp it because it might hurt their pockets, but when you have so much money, I don't think that would matter. But like I said, like Gary is right, these policymakers, if they're not corrupt,
don't call them policymakers, call them public servants. And I also call them expired geriatrics. I really do not think that anybody above the age of 67 has any business in office. The reason why is we force our American people to retire. And I feel like we do need age limits, term limits and age limits effective immediately.
Yeah. And that's definitely coming to the forefront right now. And it should be a matter of something that should be talked about more and more as we go further along in Washington.
I agree. Let's go ahead and do a quick market update. This is what the current cryptocurrency market looks like today. It is September 1st. So yeah, TON is up 13.4%. That is a Telegram related token. Rune is up 4.6%. I don't care for them very much, but that is on a personal level. And when we take a look at Bitcoin, we're not doing anything too terribly different. I'm going to go ahead and remove my lines. Also, too, if you guys are interested in using the exchange I use Femex. If you want to use it, great. If you don't want to use it, that's fine too. But that's where I'm currently trading. I think that we are going to absolutely puke a little bit more here because it's just not looking too terribly good at all. I'm going to go ahead and remove the drawing tools. We'll start fresh. This is the daily chart. We have some heavy resistance at 27,000, and you can see that has happened in the past over here. And we do have support at about 25 too. I am using the bottom of the swing wicks over here, but I also want to kind of draw the support line down a little bit more to showcase Thursday, Thursday, the 15th of June, because that would seem to be the local bottom in that area. And I honestly think that we're probably going to retest those lows at about 25,000, even 24/7 here. Now on the 4-hour chart, we're also seeing some more downward action. So we'll probably retest a low of about 25.2, possibly swing wick low to about 24/7. And that's what I'm going to see happen. And if we lose that 24/7 area, it's going to continue to go down, and we'll see about 23.8, etc. So that being said, be safe, trade safe. And this weekend, because it's a holiday in America, we might not see anything too incredibly fun happening. But I do want to get into this story over here, the series of stories. So the Bitcoin spot ETFs were delayed. We did a video yesterday. I was in the car at Costco. I let you guys know. And then I put in the caption denied with the question mark, and people got so mad. They're like, oh my God, it's clickbait. Yeah, that's why there's a question mark there. Because are they going to be denied? That's important. They are going to be delayed. And that basically means that we have another 45 days for the SEC to reevaluate them. However, it's very interesting timing. And the reason why it is interesting timing is because the Grayscale versus the SEC case, the judge said that the SEC was acting capricious and arbitrary because they really didn't set any type of guidelines down, but they keep rejecting Grayscale from wanting to convert their GBTC trust to a Bitcoin spot ETF. So all 6 Bitcoin spot ETF filings have been delayed. The SEC will reevaluate these in 45 days. Also, trying to read. And also, guys, BlackRock does have a private a private BTC trust, which that was approved August 2022 by the SEC. I didn't know that happened. And also BlackRock partnered with Coinbase to give clients of Coinbase the Aladdin exposure. Aladdin is BlackRock's portfolio management software company. The reason why that's problematic to me is because, again, we're seeing the rich be able to have access to a lot of this stuff, but not non-accredited investors. And the reason why this is so important is because if you're poor, you don't get access to a lot of these products. And I don't think that's okay. I feel like we do need to change some sort of the structure, the way the SEC is. So the next important dates for the ETF is going to be in January, and they also could be pushed further to the final decision in March, April, May of 2024. Also, Bitwise withdraws Bitcoin and Ether market cap ETF application. They said they seek to provide for investors with capital appreciation. There can be no assurance that the fund will achieve its investment objective, and it was filed with the SEC on August 3rd. I think that they're removing it right now, just because with all the crap happening. Also, too, former SEC Chair Jared Clayton says spot Bitcoin ETF approval is inevitable. I think we're going to get it approved, but I think it's going to take time. And I know I said a lot of stuff, but it's all related. I do want to get Gary's thoughts on this because you do come from more of the traditional sector. What the actual F is going on, and we can't cuss on this channel. Also, we don't want to get demonetized. It's bear market. Wendy needs her monetization money.
I think that we get approved this year, and it's by the end of 2023. And my thesis for that is that for Mr. Gensler to now delay it further, he's just being a ding dong at this point. Like, this is, look, the European Union has come out with their whole consultation process around digital assets. We have Gensler, who is on the record, on the record to the whole world, saying this is a sustainable asset class. Now, they have used, Gensler's used this language. Larry Fink used the exact language, sustainable asset class. They didn't say, hey, BTC is a sustainable asset. They said this is a asset class. And asset classes are not, that's not a term that's used lightly. You very rarely hear it. There's $800 trillion worth of various asset classes all combined. And now you have two of the foremost financial people on the planet, whether you like them or not, it's a different question, both saying, hey, this is now validated as a, not only an asset class, but a sustainable asset class. So for him to now delay this further is literally saying that they want the United States to not be innovative, and they want the United States to be behind. So that's my reasoning. I think he has to push this now. It's political. There's too many big players moving this space. Thus my thesis for why I bought 4 Bitcoin the last 2 days. And I'm not going to be able to pick this bloody bottom that you're talking about, 23 or 25 or.
Well, you set limit orders and vibe.
Yeah. And no, I hear that, but it's, I just think that some players that are investing this for long space, they can't time the market. Like, I just think a long-term investor doesn't necessarily need to time this market or think that he's going to be able to. And every time I see this big drop, Wendy, like it's such a massive drop and so quick, I'm not sure that anybody ever catches the bottom anyway.
If you set limit orders, you do.
Okay, well, maybe you can come to Florida and show me how to do better.
Okay, I will definitely do. All right, we'll do that. I'll show you a little bit, show you how to trade a little bit, and I won't be capricious. But FD, talk to us. What the actual heck is going on? What is wrong with these people? Why are our public servants being so damn ghetto? Why can't they just give us some clear guidelines? And why do they want to keep oppressing the underdogs and the hardworking American? Because let's face it, and I love what you said in the beginning of the show. You said crypto brings opportunity to pretty much anybody for the most part. All you have to do is put the effort in. I don't know about you, but when I first got into crypto, I was a brand new mom. I was nursing. I was working 4 10-hour shifts in healthcare, commuting 3 hours round trip. I had a family to take care of, to cook, to clean for. I also was waking up super early in the morning because I had to get my daughter to childcare. And I taught myself how to trade. I'd learned what blockchain was, all that type of stuff. So what's going on?
So I second Gary's sentiments. The SEC, I don't think Gary is acting under his own, accord. I think he has the powers that be, the current administration or whoever you may say, pulling the strings. But like you said, with Larry Fink coming in and a lot of these other different entities wanting to come in and start these ETFs, it's only so long that he could kick the can down the curve. This probably might have been the last time that he could kick the can down the curve. I think the political pressure now, with all the new candidates coming around, that's pro Bitcoin, pro crypto, it's going to be too much pressure on Gary Gensler to kicking the can down the curve. And another thing that I don't know if that's being discussed, he might just get fired. And if he gets fired or removed, then I think the lady, I can't remember her name, she might come in and she sounds a lot more.
Hester?
Well, Gary,
we love Hester Peirce. Absolutely love her.
yeah. But remember, when Gary Gensler first came in, we were, he was at MIT doing blockchain classes and whatnot. We thought he was going to be come in and just let us, have fun and do what we're supposed to do and come bring proper regulation. But he got into that position. And like I said, those powers that be probably said, hey, no, we're not having that. You need to do this or you're out of here. So we'll see what happens with that. But hopefully he can get removed and we can get somebody in who's a little bit more pro crypto, a little bit more pro innovation, and we can move forward.
Well, my whole take on it is Gary Gensler was placed into office. He was not voted into office. And the person that placed him into office was our current president. And we know that the blue folks, and again, you guys, when it comes to politics, I don't care, because I'm very much along the lines is if people have access to more money, they have access to better products and services. And if there's something they cannot get in a particular region, they could afford to go get what they need to get elsewhere. So I really think that lack of wealth is an issue. And part of the reason why we have a lack of wealth is because of the very strict regulations that we have for non-accredited investors. So my issue is we have a current administration, Miss Warren, all these other people that don't like crypto. They're anti-Bitcoin, they're anti-crypto, but they want CBDC. So that's where it gets a little bit problematic for me. So I don't think with this current administration, we're going to see the actual removal of him, because then it makes our sitting president look bad and it makes that entire party look bad. But then we got the red folks on the other side. Some of them are very pro crypto, they're pro Bitcoin, whatever it is, but they bring in all these stupid other social issues that makes the blue people just be like, what the actual F is happening? So I don't know how that's going to play out. And I don't know if we're actually going to get that restructure of the SEC, like Warren Davidson said, because at the end of the day, we really need to have, we need to let the taxpayers vote on who's going to make these decisions. And we also need a separate entity outside of the SEC, outside of the CFTC, that will in fact, actually understand how this stuff works. It could be folks from the SEC and the CFTC and from the crypto community and the Bitcoin community, mostly, and legal too. Like we need, because our attorneys know how this stuff works, and miners and builders, those types of things. We need a committee of people. Okay. So that's what my question is how are we going to Gary, how, because you've been around for a while, how do you see this being able to change properly?
I think the market gets you there. The demand from the market forces have a way of pushing things along. Like, we don't want Gensler to go anywhere right now. You don't want any more delays. Okay. Like these people are simply, vice presidents. Okay. They're like, we give them these big names, but like this guy has no decision capability. He's doing what he's told to do. I was actually very surprised that so many people got excited about Gensler.
I was in the beginning because I was like, oh, I was too.
Yeah.
I was an idiot. I was like, oh my God, he was a crypto teacher, but I didn't really understand how all of this works. And now I do.
He's part of the club. He's part of the club that you're not part of. You're never going to be invited to this club. Okay. Like, it's not going to happen. The problem is America has 200 years of being able to do whatever they want to do in almost every market. And they're trying to use the same type of political force and regulatory force that they've used before. It doesn't work here, because this, like the other thing Larry Fink said when he announced that they were going to do this was, hey, this is not a US centric product. This is a global product. I wish America would make this shit illegal right now. Make it illegal. The price would double. All the wealthy people would just call up Goldman Sachs and say, hey, hit me up with your Dubai operation. Hit me up with your London operation. I'm going to trade through your London desk. and the people in the middle get completely slaughtered. Completely
Wait,
slaughtered because they don't get access.
hold up 1 second. So if you're rich, you got money, you get to call your buddies, your third party predators, and say, hey, I can't invest here, but can I do it out of this office? So that's an actual real loophole.
But I mean, I can set up entities anywhere I want. I don't have to move to set up an entity. I have a business in Europe. So this is the way. I mean, let's say you set up a fund for it. It doesn't, there's so many workarounds. Like, it's not going to stop wealthy people from accessing this market. It's not. Now, if they would have actually done their job in the first place, if they really are interested in protecting the user, the consumer who has gotten obliterated in this space, which, by the way, all you traders are getting ready to really learn a lesson in the next 2 years. Like, you think it's been tough? Well, wait till the big boys show up. They are going to rip these amateurs' heads off who are setting, limit orders and stop orders. I mean, they're going to get stopped out so often, okay? Because this is on the blockchain, man. You can see it. I mean, we've not had any true professional traders. Look, I'm dealing with some players in one of my businesses, and they're like, as soon as Goldman comes here, we're done, we're out. High frequency players, they're going to move away. Yes, because it's been easy for them. But when the big boys show up, the margins are going to collapse. The volatility is going to go up initially. Ooh. And they're going to just target various products that have overhangs in them or underhangs. You and I are hoping that the underhang is in Bitcoin, right? Like, one day you're just going to wake up. I did an analysis the other day that just on the ultra wealthy, I know I'm going off track here, just on the ultra wealthy, which there's 406,000, $50 million families. And then you have 62 million millionaires. Okay, I did an analysis. If 62 millionaires put $2,500 into Bitcoin, I don't know a millionaire that would only do 2,500, but let's just assume 62 million people do 2,500 into Bitcoin. And then the ultra wealthy, of which there's 400,000, do 250,000. Run the math. Okay, it's like 38 million Bitcoin. Okay, the wealthy only get to buy 0.9. There's so many of them. So, like, I love this overhang. I look at that and go, my God, man, how long is this big gap going to remain here? Because sooner or later, the fundamentals have to take a place. And this is what I don't get from the other tokens, because the other tokens, I think they shorten my time horizon to be successful. So anyway, I just think the market's going to make this work. The Europeans are creating their own digital group. They're not going to do it the way, oh, let's send the guys from the credit card payment industry to fix Bitcoin. No, they're going to have a real digital group doing this, and they'll have advocacy from all the various players, payments, regulators, miners, et cetera. You're totally right. That's what needs to happen, is you put a collection of people together. Someone represents the miners, someone represents the users, someone represents the traders. But this market's going to work. We're so close to full on, let's rock and roll. I'm probably more excited today than I have ever been.
Yeah, Gary, I don't mean to cut you off, but when you say these, when all these big players and stuff come in, and it's going to be harder for traders, once all this money comes in, and especially these ETFs and these people who want a more stable Bitcoin, wouldn't that make it less volatile?
I'm talking about a piece of the market that what's happening right now is you've got people that have been arbitraging these trends. Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, this is the trend, the halving trend. These trends are going to, these trends will become untrends because everyone will target the trend. Okay, like the halving, I'm not so sure the halving is
okay. I got a question
before.
I got a question about the halvening though. So my thing is I like to look at the halvening and Bitcoin mining economics is kind of like a balance sheet or earnings report fundamental analysis that we use for traditional investments. So I think that that's important information. So is that information regarding Bitcoin and the mining economics? Is that going to essentially be how is that going to work out? That's all. That's because that's really our fundamentals. That's how we view Bitcoin. We look at profitability and hash rate. How many miners are running? Are they taking out collateralized loans? How are they paying their bills? Like all, all of all of those things.
Who are you directing the question to?
You.
Well, it's funny. I this whole mining thing, just because someone mines something, doesn't mean that they have to be in profit. Okay, I think miners are going to mine. I learned something a long, long time ago when I was in the oil and gas business, and the oil market fell to $10. People said that was impossible. Well, let me tell you, I have seen negative crude oil prices. I have seen negative natural gas prices, and I've seen negative electricity prices. Okay, these are like really, this is not gum or Band-Aids. Okay, this is electricity, natural gas, and oil, and I've seen negative prices in all three of them. I've also seen extreme prices where like the entire German government is bankrupt today and nobody's even talking about it. Totally, utterly bankrupt, cannot pay the utility bills, so the government's going to fund it.
Interesting. Okay.
My point though is everybody keeps telling me it costs $30,000 to mine, to make a Bitcoin based on capital costs, operating expense, and the input. And my answer is, well, then maybe you should stop mining, because the price is 27. This is why I don't like the mining business. I'm like, I can buy this stuff for 26.5, and you're telling me your stranded cost is 30. The problem is no one was ever guaranteed to make a profit in these deals. They're using energy that the cost is ridiculous. Okay, the miner of the future is going to be someone who has the least cost of energy. Mm-hmm. And I maintain those are the guys that already own the fossil fuels, and it's sitting back in the middle of nowhere in Russia, up in the Iceland, where you can barely, you get 1 day of sun in Siberia, that's the word, where the net back to that oil or natural gas is about 20 cents. The mining facilities are going to go up there. They're going to be trains up. Okay, now who's going to win that battle? The guy with 7-cent hydro that's, super green, or Putin, who has flared gas oozing into the planet's atmosphere that basically he's not even getting any money for whatsoever.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Next, I want to talk about Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton's a mess, but he also said on live television, he says, former SEC chair Jay Clayton says spot Bitcoin ETF approval is inevitable. I think it is too. And I think that is important to note because, if we have these types of guys coming out saying that stuff, then it should be fine. But I do want to talk a little bit about Ripple and XRP. It looks like Ripple developer arm RippleX proposed new changes to XRPL. It's a new feature called clawback. Oof, I don't like that word. It's designed to provide issuers with enhanced control over their distributed assets. An account level flag will be used, which, if advocated, gives issuer the ability to modify a trust line object, providing the ability to claw back funds from a relevant account. A trust line is an object owned by a wallet that specifies what address is trusted for which code. This essentially gives the issuer power to adjust balances. Validators will vote on the proposal. It receives more than 80% of the support in 2 weeks. It will be accepted and applied to permanently all future ledger versions. So basically what they're saying is you can do chargebacks, or if there's fraud that happens. So basically, okay, so this is how my mind is justifying it. I'm going to give it over to FD. So I'm a vendor. And FD comes into my store and he wants to purchase this ring from me. I say, okay, cool. Give me your wallet address. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to verify you. And then we exchange payment. And then a person that comes in the store after FD doesn't give me their wallet address and I don't verify it, but they buy something, and then I can easily claw that money back. So give me your thoughts on this, FD. Are we supposed to be doing this in a true decentralized economy? What in the actual heck is this? Because this just seems like a CBDC.
So XRP, shout out to the XRP army. I love XRP. It was, as an investment, it was one of the first cryptos I bought. Actually the first crypto I bought when I first got into it, but that's a whole other story. But XRP has had a long history of these type of things, especially when it comes to decentralization. Nobody in the space is really calling XRP decentralized. It's one of the more centralized entities or cryptos, so to say. So with this, like you said, this clawback, that word, I don't like that word, because that decentralized and clawback is like, it's like opposites of each other, you know? So with this new thing that they're talking about, I'm not sure. I have to do a little bit more research on it, but from the sounds of it and the way you kind of broke it down, I don't, I don't know if that's something that can be, you know, described as a decentralized or something like that. So cryptocurrency and all of this is supposed to be decentralized. We know most of it is not decentralized, but we're supposed to be starting to go towards more and more decentralization, which we'll talk about Cardano a little bit later. But XRP is always, you know, had the stigma of being the more centralized entity, the more centralized company, currency, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, they have things of being in talk with CBDCs and I think the World Economic Forum. It's just a bunch of stuff with XRP. I like XRP. Don't kill me, XRP Army. But it's just a lot of things that I need to dig a little bit more deeper with.
No, I agree. What is your thought process on this, Gary? What do you think?
I think XRP is never going to be a decentralized platform ever.
I agree.
It's not even possible. I like what they're doing, but I also like CBDCs. And the reason for that is like we need the user educated. Okay. I sent my sister $250 of Bitcoin on her iPhone, and she's still 4 months ago, and she still has not figured out by herself how to download it. Until it becomes easy and understandable for a 75-year-old lady to do that, like that we're going to have the XRPs of the world providing services that bridge the gap between the old world and the new world. It's not right or wrong. It's just, hey, look, we have a flood of technology showing up, a fucking flood, excuse my language, a total flood of technology showing up. You can't expect that that's just going to erase mankind tomorrow. Like you're going to have to build some houses in Hawaii. Okay. Like you're not just going to poof, magic dragon. We have a whole infrastructure set up. So look, they're so embedded, just their claws, the clawback, right? They just couldn't use the chargeback. So they came up, this is all payment ethos. They literally, the entire culture and thought process of that whole industry is going to be a disaster because there's too many people making fees and not doing anything. So I think you're going to have, I think this accelerates merchants' desire to take real digital asset that is really decentralized, which I know of only one that is truly decentralized. And I think you're going to see Bitcoin traded at a discount. The products that were bought using Bitcoin will trade at a 15+% discount to not use the credit card. That's where I think this is going to go. You're going to have mega merchants that go, hey, I'm going to take some of my processing. I will accept, an auction on Bitcoin on a painting that's 15% below fiat because I don't have 180 days of exposure for a chargeback or a refund or anything. Basically, the guy has Bitcoin, like I am a professional buyer. You don't get any recourse or bitching from me. I don't call you tomorrow morning and complain about the color of the automobile I bought. I'm a professional. Then there's the amateur buyers who want all their rights to, oh gosh, I have buyer's remorse now. My wife won't let me buy a $10 dildo. Like it's ridiculous, right? And then they file a chargeback because the wife didn't approve a purchase that a 28-year-old man made. And this is riddled the payment industry because there are no rules in payments. The same kind of phenomena that's going on in your great state of California, where they raise the whole, hey, I'm going to take you to jail if you steal something over $850. Well, are you seeing what's happening now? You have whole gangs of people going on TikTok and hammering Nordstrom's, taking $700 out 10 times, okay? And nobody's prosecuting them. What do you think's going online, man? If they're doing that on recordings, what do you think is happening online? I think the whole payment rails are just starting to the plumbing is breaking. So
I can get behind
XRP
that.
is going to have a role. A lot of people are going to have a role here.
I agree. But let's talk about the new UK travel rule that came into effect today. It requires crypto operators to identify the sender and recipient of transfers. When receiving funds from countries that don't currently comply with the rule, crypto firms should make a risk-based assessment of whether to make crypto available to the beneficiary. The rule would also apply to Brits looking to send payments outside of the UK. Crypto exchanges now have the authority to freeze or seize customers' funds for failing to sufficiently verify their source. Also, you guys, please make sure to smash the like and share this. This helps support the channel. FD, give me your thoughts on this.
So this is just another version of control. Like the whole point of crypto was to eliminate the third party. So now all these rules and all these regulations, it's like you might as well just send money. Like, what's the point? You know, as far as opposed to like the speed that it gets from one place to another. But once you add that third party intermediary, it's like it's the same exact thing as just sending, sending money, through line. So with this, everything that I stand for with crypto, I know everything can't be decentralized. I know it takes time and years and years and years for everything. And even what Gary was talking about with adoption and making things easier and whatnot, I know that's going to take time. But I stand firm in my conviction of cutting the third party out, cutting that middleman out. It's up to us, to do our due diligence, to learn these things, to learn how to use these things, to learn how to use our phones, to learn how to use our computers, to learn how to use everything. We have too many tools nowadays to have to rely on these other parties, to tell us what we can and cannot accept. I know they're trying to like limit
But
fraud and
Frank,
whatnot.
But Frank, this isn't a third party we have a choice over. This is a financial conduct authority, right? This is the enforcement authorities that are making rules going, hey, look, we don't want a guy coming through UK, through Nigeria with $1 billion worth of freaking Bitcoin in their wallet and not declaring it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge problem. I don't even know how they ever think they're going to actually solve it.
Right.
I mean, in some of these reports, even chain analysis is going, that's a near impossible problem to solve.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, that's just one of the things that we're dealing with right now with the crypto and the adoption of crypto. It's like, I mean, do you want it to be decentralized or not?
No, they do not. They do
we're
not.
we're dancing and they're dancing on both sides. And it can't be like that. We can either be speculators and try to grab the latest coin and become billionaires, or we really want, the technology and the freedom, for the little person to come up, in this industry or with this industry, with the cryptocurrencies or whatnot, whatever you choose. And the third parties are just basically coming in, trying to take over the industry once again, like they do with everything.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about this next one, because this one's interesting. There's a lot of stuff coming out of China that mainstream media is not reporting on in America. Chinese court declares crypto legal property protected by the law. Chinese government declared a blanket ban on all private cryptocurrencies in 2021. A People's Court in China has recently stated that under existing legal framework, crypto assets have economic value and are still legally property backed by law. Court suggested ways to deal with crypto linked with crimes without affecting the private rights of citizens. They said it should be kept separately under civil and criminal law. Personal property and money should always be treated from a standpoint of legality. Gary, tell us. Was this on your bingo card, both of you? Was this on your bingo card for 2023?
Yeah. Look, it's all happening right now. This is why Gensler is going to approve an ETF this year. Because like you'd have to be blind not to see, oh my God, even China is coming out with policy. And that's why I say any policy is better than no policy, especially when your own industry can't self-regulate because we have no self-control and we're just piglets. The outsiders are going to come in, the enforcement authorities are going to come in and make sure that they don't lose their method of putting their hand in our back pocket. I think, Frank, you bring up a really good point. See, I think the thing that the governments really, really hate is not Bitcoin or any of this. They hate decentralization because decentralization takes away their power and their ability to control an outcome. But I mean, this thing that you mentioned in the about the UK and the crypto travel, that's a big deal. Okay. And it's going to be really interesting to suggest, hey, what happens if Wendy, remember when everybody was faking the vax documents so they could travel?
Yikes.
There was a lot of that, okay, going on where People, I'm not getting vaxxed. I'm going to buy a fake passport. People went to jail for it.
Yikes.
I don't know what, like, are you really going to tell the UK TSA, hey man, I've got $30 million sitting in my back pocket? Why would you do that? Last time I was there, I had 10 gold coins, $40,000 in US dollars. I was going there to gamble. Guy stops me. He says, what are you doing? I said, dude, I'm going to gamble. And then he literally looks at me, oh, well, what if you lost it? Like it's any of his business. And I said, my answer was, dude, I'm probably am going to lose it. I came here to gamble. So, you know, I kept my money. They didn't send me to jail. It's a very hard thing to enforce, especially if you can show that this all showed up legally.
Right. But what, like, okay, FD, I want to talk to you about China. What do you feel like China's end goal is here with crypto and all the bullish news that's coming out of there, especially out of Hong Kong?
You know, I don't know if people have been noticing, like, but it seems like within the past few years, when the United States goes for something, China goes against it and vice versa. So I'm not sure what's going on with China. They got a lot of problems going on over there right now. But the one, like you said, the one good thing is, you know, the crypto adoption, or, you know, everything they're coming in talking about crypto, especially with Hong Kong seeming like it's been their crypto hub. I think it's good. I think it's good for China. They need to adopt it. They need to let everything come through China right now, because it's looking bad. It's looking very bad over there. So the United States, like Gary said earlier, we're gonna catch up, but I don't think, you know, especially with like China and these other countries starting to advance, starting to have more, you know, regulation, having their blueprint, their fingerprint on the industry more than the US. They'll wake up one day and then they'll say, okay, maybe we need to, you know, put the foot on the gas too, and come in and try to, you know, implement some of these rules and regulations so we can benefit too. Because at the end of the day, once you realize you can benefit from it, once they realize they can benefit from it, then they'll, you know, put it on their to-do list. Right now, it's still seeming like a threat. So that's why they're acting like they're acting.
Fair enough. All right. I want to get into this next story here. Cardano to be bigger than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Charles H reveals why ADA is primed to explode. So apparently I was at Rare Evo with him. I didn't get a chance to see him. I had some stuff going on, but basically Charles talked about the importance of a Cardano as a leader in the blockchain. And he said Bitcoin and Ethereum refused to have on-chain governance. He mentioned that the case of Bitcoin, the anarchy doesn't mean that people have to rely on anything the official founder did. Discuss how Cardano's endgame is to fully achieve decentralization and operate through user consensus and voting rather than being controlled by a single party. However, I have to argue with him. A single party could simply be a whale that wants to come in and vote. He believes the network will become the backbone of the new digital nation, a new society, and a place where we can finally trust each other again. I disagree with them 100%, because when you're talking about a consensus mechanism and proof of stake, if you have somebody that gotten super early and that is a whale that has a lot of money or has a lot of coins, and they can kind of go ahead and make decisions for the entire group. So I think that he's a very intelligent person. I like Cardano. I'm a Cardano holder. I like their ecosystem. I think it's outstanding, but at the same time, this is a bad take. I don't agree with him.
Yeah. Well, I like Charles. He's very articulate. You know, you sit down and you listen to him, you'll kind of believe anything he says. You know what I mean? Very smart. I like Cardano, like you said. Just like you, I'm a Cardano holder. I've been holding Cardano since. So I love Cardano. So I'm very much in tune to what's going on. But like you said, somebody can come in with, you know, a bunch of money, come in with a bunch of coins, and they can have, you know, the decentralization will be questioned coming in, something like that. So we'll have to see. Cardano is doing a lot of good things. I know they're doing a lot of good things in like Africa. He's trying to change the world and do things like that. But when it comes to the actual coin and the blockchain and whatnot, some of these things, some of these ideas that he's coming with, we'll have to just sit back and see if the technology and his, you know, ambitions and admirations can come to fruition. But I'm rooting for him. I like Charles a lot.
Gary, give us your thoughts on this.
4 years ago, this was a 12.5 cent token. Now it's worth 25 cents. That's my input.
Okay. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for watching the O Show, everything crypto and NFTs every day. Make sure to smash a like. We're going to share this really quickly. Gary, where can they find you? And then FD, where can they find you? And we got to go because it's Friday. And also happy birthday to Altcoin Daily. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Awesome job as always, Wendy, at Gary Cardone.
All right, Mr. FD.
appreciate the opportunity. It was the biggest platform I've been on thus far. You can find me at Crypto Funds Invest on YouTube, at King Crypto Funds on Twitter. Thank you for having
Awesome.
me.
Thank you
Great
guys
job,
so
Frank.
much. Wave to the audience so that we get the playback to go. Bye, guys.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you
you,
so
Gary.
much. Bye.
Ciao.
All right, let's go ahead and end this.